Point number 7, we have been taking too much of processed, refined, preserved and canned food for a prolonged period of time. Now, ever since industrial agriculture became industrialized, most of the food we eat now is all ready-made and packaged. So, all these ready-made foods is actually devitalized of nutrition, or either they are preserved with high salt or high sugar, and these food actually again trigger inflammation inside of us. Actually, I was surprised. One of the restaurant I used to eat, one fine day I asked them, hey, your chickpeas, where do you get it from? Do you soak it overnight? He told me, no, we use canned chickpeas. It was a shock to me. In fact, most of the everyday food we eat, if you ask for the source, it actually comes from canned food, which is actually loaded with preservatives and chemicals. And if you continue to take like this on a daily basis, it's definitely going to cause health problems. Point number 8, did not partake in any detoxification programs for prolonged periods of time. You know, every day when we eat, the next day we eliminate. So, the actual good hygiene is 1 in, 1 out, but most people can't achieve it. Most people just go toilet just even once a day, and I have come across people who can't even defecate for 5 days. You keep shit inside of you, it's going to cause havoc on your health. A lot of things actually we need to eliminate, but we don't have time. Most people don't even have time to go for a proper elimination of bowels. They are always in a rush and they just come out very fast, and no wonder colon cancer cases is going up and up in Singapore. First, our food has become more industrial food, and a bit unhappy that most restaurants now, they cook at central kitchen, they freeze the food, and whenever they want to deliver to a restaurant, they take it out, defreeze it and then send it to a restaurant to serve to people, which to me is unacceptable. In fact, I made it a point that I only eat at restaurants where the food is prepared at the back of the kitchen itself and not from a central kitchen, because most food devoid of nutrition actually cause constipation, because it's not total, it's not complete, because we have done a lot of milling stuff and our body can't recognize it. So, our body can't even properly digest and eliminate it. That's why constipation sets in. So, when my son was a baby, so I tested. I gave him a milk powder. I used a milk powder and gave him to drink. Actually, he developed constipation. But the moment it was switched back to mother's milk or a natural goat's milk, he was able to eliminate properly. See, this is the effect. All processed food actually causes a lot of problems, but we don't pay attention to it. And in fact, why most people now are falling sick by 30, 40 is actually we have to track back their life, and what they did when they were young itself matters. Actually, most people are now not even given fresh mother's milk. Everybody go for powder's milk, and every powder milk is actually synthetic. Nothing is fresh. You watch the video root cause of diseases. I already showed even a baby's milk powder have synthetic compounds, and we accept it. What kind of nonsense is this? Point number 9, suffered from prolonged constipation, digestive issues like GERD, heartburn, bloatedness, stomach discomfort, etc., sluggish metabolism, but they failed to address the situation. They took antacids and they tried to use other drinks to overcome this kind of problems, or take drugs which made the problem worse. So, once things which are supposed to be eliminated stays in the body, it starts to cause a lot of health problems. Especially, we need to defecate at least twice daily. And also, every time you go to eliminate your bowels, please try to use a squatting toilet, because only through a squatting toilet you can eliminate properly. A normal Western style, it doesn't eliminate properly, and it happens for a prolonged period of time. Of course, what can you expect? It can come out. The symptoms can be colon cancer. Point number 10, had weak immunity low cellular oxygen due to impaired breathing for a prolonged period of time. Now look at the way you breathe. How many of us have a belly breathing? It means with every breath, we inhale deeply, our stomach comes out, and when we exhale, stomach goes in. No, especially under a very stressful environment, please pay attention. Your breath is so shallow. If breath is shallow, definitely you are impaired of oxygen. And without oxygen, even a basic metabolic process can't take place, because we need oxygen and sugar for the cell to burn to get ATP, which is the energy of the cell. But with impaired breathing, you really affect cellular oxygen. And that's what Dr. Warburg said in 1930s, that all cancers start when there is lack of oxygen in the body. Point number 11, hardly did any exercise, no sweating at all for prolonged period of time. You look at our life, especially Singapore is called an air-conditioned nation. Everywhere you go except the streets, everywhere is air conditioned. So you keep on inhaling recycled air, and with a prolonged period of time, definitely you will have a problem. You can't sweat, and hardly people like to go out even under the sun, because they think they will get cancer. So always indoor, and no wonder most people are deficient in vitamin D, which is again one of the most important thing. And most people with cancer, they have low levels of vitamin D. It's all because of our ignorance. We need to be under the sun, and trust me, sun won't cause cancer. If sun caused cancer, most of us would have been dead way long ago. Look at all the animals, how many of them get cancer? They are under the sun for most of the time. All we need is at least 30 minutes of exposure to the sun. But even then, when we go to sun, we put all the sunscreen, etc. We again block. So how can our body get vitamin D, which is one of the most important thing? And also we need to sweat. Skin being the major organ of elimination, we need to use the skin as well to push bad things out. But it only we can sweat if we do vigorous exercise, but we hardly do. No wonder we impair the functions of the skin, and over time we have more health problems. Had too many sugary food, processed drinks, energy drinks together with artificial sweeteners.
For over 125 years, we've been bringing people together. Today we'd like to come together on something that concerns all of us: obesity. The long-term health of our families and the country are at stake, and as the nation's leading beverage company, we have played an important role. Across our portfolio of over 650 beverages, we now offer 180 low and no-calorie choices. These diet beverages still pose serious health risks. Even though we've reduced the calories per serving, these beverages can still cause kidney problems, obesity, metabolic syndrome, cell damage, and rotting teeth, which leaves 470 beverages which have extremely high, unhealthy levels of calories. Consuming large amounts of rapidly digested sugar and high fructose corn syrup causes a spike in blood sugar and insulin, which can lead to inflammation and insulin resistance, both of which may increase your risk of stroke, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and cancer. Coke has also been known to accelerate aging and cause high cholesterol. The American Heart Association recommends consuming no more than 450 calories from sugar-sweetened beverages per week, the amount in about 3 cans of soda. Imagine if cigarette companies said they were doing something responsible to protect you. How would you react to that? Beating obesity will take action by all of us, based on one simple, common-sense fact. All calories are not the same, and the calories in Coca-Cola products have no nutritional value. If you choose to live a healthy lifestyle, then you should not be drinking any of our products. If you drink Coke, you'll get fatter and fatter. The solution is simple, and it's right in front of your eyes. Don't drink Coke. It's killing you and your family. Coca-Cola. We're partially responsible for America's obesity problem.
Point number 13. Low or no exposure to sunshine for prolonged period of time. Look at our life. Most people wake up by 6 or 7 and then quickly run to office. So you go under a subway, you go take a train, and everywhere in Singapore is very nicely sheltered. To an extent, hardly sunlight can touch your skin, and if you prolong it for years, definitely you will have a problem with health, because we all need sunlight. You look at all our animal species. Actually, honestly, we need to learn a lot from animals, because why? They follow natural laws and we try to avoid everything. When we are inside office, we have a lot of artificial lighting. This artificial lighting actually affects our brain too. It's because the light causes a lot of flicker and our eyes perceive it, and it actually causes a lot of disharmony inside of us. Whereas a natural sunlight is so natural, it is so perfect. In fact, now there are some companies, LED companies, coming out something very close to nature. They are much better than most of the flicker lights we have in our offices, which again causes a lot of health problems. Point number 14, kept awake late at nights for longer period of time. As said earlier, sleep, which is supposed to come so naturally and so blissfully, is not happening to a lot of people. Why? Because they are constantly stimulating the brain. You look at a bird, the moment the sun sets, it goes to its nest and it doesn't come out until the morning. But what we do, we have something called night life. We go and most people drink up to midnight, then come back, then they have a hangover for the next day, then they again gulp a coffee to keep themselves awake so that they can continue with the work. And if it happens for a prolonged period of time, sure, your body can't cope up with it. No wonder most of my cancer cases now are all in the 40s. It's quite scary. What I see now is every generation is living 10 to 20 years shorter. Means if my grandfather lived up to 80, my father lives up to 60 and my life gets shortened up to 40. True enough, you go and observe what's happening in your family, your friend circle, or just watch what's happening around you. You can see that people living older, they got good genes and their children are not able to have a healthy lifestyle or live long without drugs like their own parents and grandparents.